All right, so one of the top trading strategies you're going to hear about is sympathy plays, hot sectors, how they relate. And keep in mind, when we're talking sympathy plays and hot sectors, quite often the biggest leader in these hot sectors can be higher price stocks. That's why we love sympathy plays, because most of you can't trade really high price stocks. You love the penny stocks. Today I'm going to talk about a technique to spot those hot sympathy plays. Hey everyone, be sure to like, share, subscribe, ring that bell. I almost forgot. Ring the bell. I almost forgot to ring the bell. You better not forget to ring the bell, because if you forget to ring the bell, then you won't get notified when we drop a new video like this. Don't forget, like I almost did. That being said, I am lead trainer with StocksToTrade, Tim Bohen. Today we're going to be talking about sympathy plays, and I'm going to use Tesla as an example. Most of you know what a huge fan of Tesla I am, what a huge fan of Elon Musk I am, and ultimately one of, I think, the hottest sectors in 2022 is going to be, it was hot in 2020, hot in 2021. I think we're going to get have a real explosion of EVs in this coming year in 2022. But, you know, as much as I love this stock, as much as it's so tradable, I mean, the beauty is it did another awesome red to green today. So tradable. But at the end of the day, it's a $1,000 stock. If you got a $2,000 account, what are you going to do? You're going to buy one share and then say it goes red and green and it spikes $20, $30, $40 a share. And that's great. But if you got one share, what's the point? So what we like to do is look at sympathy plays. And if you remember 2020, we had a ton of these low-priced EV plays. A lot of them aren't low-priced anymore. A lot of them are holding near the highs. But again, I really think back to 2020, that early summer when Tesla broke out, and we had that. I mean, so many the plugs and the BLDPs and the battery plays, the F cells. I mean, there was all these tickers that ran with it. And I expect Nikola, as much of a joke as Nikola was, but all of them ran with Tesla, and I expect to see the same. So what you're going to say is, well, how do I find them? How do I track those down? And one of the great things about StocksToTrade is we've got so many tools that make so many things easier. Okay, now, at the end of the day, is this going to guarantee profits? Is it going to guarantee you can grow your account or double your account? No, but there's so much you need to know. There's so much you need to learn. There's so much of a process you need to go through, that the more shortcuts and the better tools and the better infrastructure you have, you know, when you've got that process, something I preach is have a process, step through your process. You'll hear me talking about checking the boxes. You know, when you're trying to do that, and that's the only way to really trade. I mean, I know people love alerts and people love, hey, bro, just trade the price action, bro. Who cares about the ticker or the news? And I mean, and that can work to a certain extent. But listen, if you're just buying the top percent gainer, you know, oh, it's got some news, you don't even read the press release, you don't know what the sector is, you don't know what the float is, you don't know what the chart pattern is, your odds of success over time are very, very low, okay? You'll get lucky here and there, but then you'll just end up buying a bunch of stinkers that don't go anywhere or crater because you didn't do your due diligence. So have a process, stick to that process, and refine it, okay? And this video isn't about that. We have a bunch of other videos, the podcast. You go back and look at some of the Steady Trade podcasts. We really talk about refining your process and finding your edge there. It's all in the archive. Take advantage of it. Just because there's a video or a podcast that's 2 years old, we really, really try and make these what they call evergreen, useful videos. I don't care if you're watching a video of mine from 4 years ago. Those videos are just as applicable today, especially in the post-2016 world. So that being said, have tools, have the ability to make yourself more efficient, because you got to step through those processes. And one of the best things we have, it's simple, but a lot of people don't know it's there, and that's the related tab in StocksToTrade. So what this is you can see, again, I'm using Tesla as an example. I can, with one click, find every other stock that is in the same sector, industry, and sub-industry. So you can see up in the upper left, consumer cyclical, vehicles and parts, and auto manufacturers, okay? So now with one click, and many of you may be familiar with a lot of these tickers, but ultimately if you're brand new, I mean, you might not know about Rivian, at least an IPO. You might not know about Lucid Motors. You might not know that Ford is crushing it in EVs right now. So look at that with one click. Again, Ford, if you're been on pre-market prep, you know this is my number one I call them old line EV play, not a newer play. Again, Lucid, NIO, that China play that went, geez, NIO is still at $30. Pretty wild. Started out like $2 in 2020, okay? Rivian, recent IPO. Nikola, very scammy, but Nikola's still here. Some other China plays like XPEV, LI, QS, another SPAC. So see how Ride, Lordstar Motors, used to be, and Workhorse is there. I mean, all these plays with one click. And then you'll notice I did something. I probably jumped ahead of you, but what's great about this is we can sort by market cap, volume, and float. Now, what I do, and what I recommend you do, and you'll hear this all the time, trade the big gainers in the hot sectors with the most volume, okay? So I sort by volume, and notice how that put all these big names in the EV sector right at the top of my list. Doesn't mean they're all buys, doesn't mean they're all trades, but right there, whether it be the Fords, the Lucids, the NIOs, the Rivians, the Nikolas, the XPEs, the LEDs, the FSRs, the Rides, I put those into a watch list, which I can just click them, add to my watch list. So maybe I create a new EV watch list. I right-click it. I add it to my EV watch list. Then I go do my due diligence by getting the highest float stock or the highest volume stocks, dropping them in that watch list. Then I work through that process. And if they're not interesting, I delete them. If they're good, if they got good chart patterns, ultimately that's what we mostly trade is the pattern, then we keep it on watch. Then we start breaking down that chart and looking for entries and exits. Then the other thing you can do is also sort by float. You can sort by the lowest float stocks. You can go through here. Here is HLBZ, super sketchy. But again, 1.5 million EV play. What's HLBZ doing these days? I like their name. No volume. Okay. Ooh, yeah, getting destroyed. But you can, listen, this is why. You might be like, well, Tim, why did HLBZ click when you saw it? Hey, my friends, look at this. $9 to $25 in one day. Okay. $7 to $16 in a day and a half. From 8 to 40 in 3 days. Okay. That, and we'll save this for another day, that's why you got to be building that mental database. Now, I want to be clear. HLBZ is dead. But if you could back up that video, as soon as I saw a 1.5 million low float former runner, it clicked. Do that with experience. Do that with watch lists, okay? The more you grease that groove, iron sharpens iron, all these things, you put in that due diligence, you can spot that stock too. No trade, it's dead. But I'll tell you what, HLBZ has some volume tomorrow, has a press release tomorrow, I'm going to be ready. So, that being said, take advantage of the related tab. And again, I know it's very simple, but when you're talking about hot sectors and when you're talking about so many of these stocks moving, you need little tweaks to maximize your efficiency and cut down the time to get through that process. Take advantage of it. And it's a little thing, but if you combine 10 little things, that's saving you minutes. When we're talking about a dip and rip on a sketch low float like HLBZ, if you can get through your process minutes faster than the other guy, you beat him on the trade. So, all right, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. As always, check out the StocksToTrade team. It's a mentorship program where I really, really get in depth with 2 daily webinars every single trading day. Click the link, and we'll see you in the StocksToTrade team.